Good afternoon. It's me, Sean, saying hello to everyone. Hopefully, everyone's having a really good week. The homework is being turned in late. I've had a very crazy week, but it is what it is. I'm getting after it now. So I'm going to deal with the homework that had to do with the questions, and I will read the questions and then I'll answer them the best way I know how. The first question is, what is a stewardship director or a stewardship leader? I had never heard of that term at all, so I had to look it up and I was reading it. But basically, I think a director or a leader is someone who's responsible for, and I quote, designing, implementing, and directing an integrated and comprehensive donor relationship and stewardship program that appropriately and consistently promotes interactions and connections with and recognition of donors at all levels. I guess that's a really fancy way of saying it. I would say it's someone who is literally a vision caster and a director of overseeing all of the programming around generosity. I got that quote from Emerging Practitioners in Philanthropy, and there's also some writing on this in the article, which is entitled, what was the title of this article? There we go. Church Stewardship Ministry. So that's that first part of the question. What would some benefits be of having a stewardship director or staff or as a volunteer position in your leadership team? I think for Living Spirit, it would be a game changer. Number one, you'd have someone who is another leader. So every time you have a leader leading anything, you have a teacher, you have a coach, and you've got someone that can help move the work forward. So I think that would be spectacular. But the idea of generosity, moving beyond just money, is something that I'm very interested in because this is all new to me. And the folks that I will deal with don't have a great deal of funds. And I'm not trying to put everyone into a box, but the idea of having abundant forms of money just isn't going to happen. But to have someone who can take a look at what does it mean to overall give your time, your energy, and whatever money you have would be highly important. I think this person would be in charge of report writing. I really love the concept of narrative report writing. I'd never heard of that before. Again, so much of what happens in this first class I've never heard of before, which is, it's good. I mean, I'm learning all kinds of stuff. So yeah, I think you'd be in charge of casting a vision. I would say kind of like a Dave Ramsey coach, money matters / visionary / encourager of people. I think there are people who would want to give, but would give such a small amount that he thinks that what would my $5 be, or what would this actually look like? And I think we need someone with big ideas and big vision to walk alongside people and coach them through the ideas of giving money. So again, I guess the question was, what would their main responsibilities be? Two parts. Number one, cast a vision, right? And so this is someone who would regularly be up in front of the congregation. I would say almost every 6 to 8 weeks, we'd have some sort of a form of a generosity Sunday where we're engaging in people on how to give and why to give. So as a church planter, I know that every 6 to 8 weeks, I would preach on the mission and vision of our church plant. I would always do so because regardless of what we're actually doing, people kind of forget. And so I think the same thing with generosity. If generosity only comes around once a year, then that's problematic of creating a culture that wants to fully engage in that. How would the role of stewardship director be different from what currently takes place at your financial team? I think currently what takes place at our financial team are just crunching numbers. I've been a part of 2 meetings so far, and basically it's telling people who are at the meeting how much money is coming in, how much money is in savings, and how much money people have to spend, and then that's it. There's no real dreaming. There's no real, I'd say, heart. It's just kind of like, here are the facts, and that's it. And so I think there's a great deal of room for there being another way to do things through kind of having a director of generosity. I really, really like that concept. And as it relates to meeting with my team and discussing with them, I'm going to say, hey, I think we actually need a director of generosity. I do have a question about that, though. Is it best to have someone inside the church, or to go find someone outside the church to be a director of generosity? I kind of see it both ways. If you have someone who's an insider, you can quickly figure out what the culture is and what's the pulse of the insiders to create a plan to increase generosity. At the same time, I don't know if having someone who's an insider having access to everyone's funds who isn't a clergy person, that might be very problematic. But something to consider. If any of you have the answer to that, let me know. Next question: is there something you could integrate in a major or minor way in your church or nonprofit? Why or not? The answer to that question is yes. Being new to this process has kind of opened my eyes to a great deal of benefits that take place for generosity. And before this course, I always thought that generosity was a fancy way of saying, how do I get your money? And it's just kind of the bolts and nuts of the process. And you need money to keep the lights on. And so you just have to do money work. But this course has kind of helped me understand that generosity is by far more than that. I think I've answered all of those questions. If you have any feedback on whether or not a director of stewardship should come from inside or outside the church, let me know. Take care. Peace. Bye.